Lots of NPCs and characters in Elden Ring are evil, creepy, or just plain out weird. But some really stick out as heroes, and that's why I decided to cosplay as Nepheli Loux. Cosplay runs are great because they set your equipment to a limit but still help others find new builds. These are the rules for this run. I can only use Nepheli's equipment, I must complete Nepheli's questline, and I cannot summon, unless it's Nepheli herself. Nepheli's build is simple but really powerful. She wears the champion set and uses 2 Stormhawk axes. She also uses the Ash of War that is applied to that axe. When seeing her moveset, I noticed that she never uses 2 hands on her weapons, so I decided to make that a rule for myself as well. Here's how the run went. By choosing the hero class, I can start the game with Nepheli's full armor set. This is huge and I've never completed a cosplay run that has granted me this advantage. I couldn't get access to either one of the Stormhawk axes until I at least got into the capital. Until then, the best alternative would be the battle axe. The battle axes share the same exact moveset as the Stormhawk axe, even when dual wielding the weapons. After getting access to Torrent, I gathered other supplies like Sacred Tears, Golden Seeds, and minor upgrade materials. Wait. Yes, you just saw me kill Kenneth Height, the friendly NPC. People like myself do this because he drops a golden seed, and in all my cosplay runs, I've always been sure to loot it. However, Kenneth plays a major role in Nepheli's questline, and I didn't remember this until after beating Margit. Oh well, I restarted the run and got both my battle axes, all the golden seeds, besides the one from Kenneth. Sacred Tears, everything. I was now finally ready for Margit, round 2. Margit was pretty easy. I mean, I just killed him 30 minutes ago when filming this. The battle axes, although upgraded, dealt much more damage than I originally expected them to deal. I was dealing solid yellow damage to Margit, and began to think that as the run went on, Nepheli's build might become really strong. However, I didn't break Margit's stance once until the very end, which I, and correct me if I'm wrong, believe is due to the fact that I'm dual wielding my weapons. It didn't seem to matter. Although I burnt through all my flasks, Margit was killed on my 3rd try. I also wanted to mention that I completed as much of Kenneth's questline as I could. You can do this by speaking to him and rescuing his fort, which just meant I had to kill the Godric Knight at the top of the base. After this, speak to him again and I'll move the location that the knight used to be at. He'll stay here until the conclusion of Nepheli's questline, searching for a new leader of Limgrave. And while on the topic of questlines, I also began to complete Gostic's quest. I took the side path because he told me to, but other than that, which wasn't even required, his questline is pretty much over until Nepheli's has progressed as well. Now we can finally start Nepheli's questline. You can find her in a room in Stormvale Castle, looking at a knight she just vanquished. All you have to do is exhaust her dialogue, and she'll mention that she wants to help you fight Godric the Grafted. His boss fight is the next part of her questline. This is definitely one of the easiest Godric fights I've ever experienced. Summon or no summon, these axes are a great pick for this kind of boss. He'll throw some fast and slow attacks at random times, but 75% of them are really easy to dodge, and the rest aren't that bad as well. Before the fight, I also equipped the Stormcaller Ash of War, which has the same animation as the Ash of War on the Stormhawk axe, except without the lightning. Considering I couldn't get the Sacred Wet Blade until later on in the run, this was the best choice. Godric down, and Nepheli survived the entire fight. After Godric, you'll find Nepheli in the Roundtable hold, where she explains her relationship to Gideon Ofnir, her foster father. She gives the player the Arsenal Charm, which later in the run helped me maintain a lightweight class. After this interaction, she moves to Albinoric village. You speak to her and then kill the Omen killer boss. This is an easy open world boss, and although he damaged me a lot, I was able to kill him on my 1st try. Also, just to mention as a side note, I didn't notice until after the fight that you can actually summon Nepheli for this guy, if anyone's curious. Fortunately, even though I didn't summon her, it didn't impact her questline. Nepheli will return to the Roundtable hold, heartbroken at the discovery of her foster father's true intent. You can get this info by speaking with Gideon and then Nepheli. She will stay here for a while, at least until the rest of her questline, until you make a choice, whether to progress Seluvis's questline or Nepheli's. Obviously I went with Nepheli's because not only does it let us finish the main quest, but it gives her a much better ending. Seluvis can stay in his tower with Ranni. At this point, we can almost wrap up Nepheli's, Kenneth's, and Gostric's combined questline. To cheer Nepheli up, you have to go back to the starting island, in which I know an awful lot about considering I beat Elden Ring with only its equipment. I quickly defeated the Grafted Scion, and grabbed the Stormhawk Cane. You can show this to Nepheli to remind her of her first hawk. It'll cheer her up and give her courage to become an even better warrior than her foster father could ever be. Before all these questlines come to an end, I have to defeat Morgott for some reason. The window between Morgott and Malekith is when the final part of their questlines occur, so it's time to fight some bosses. First I killed the Red Wolf of Radagon, which was fairly easy. Despite taking lots of damage, I defeated the boss on my first try and made my way to Rennala. I never thought that dual-wielding weapons would actually benefit the player at such an extreme amount. This run was the first time I ever did this, and it really paid off. My attack staggered Rennala almost every time, making this fight very easy. I just had to be aware of some of her spirit ashes. On my first try, I defeated the boss. This was probably one of my favorite fights in the run. The Draconic Tree Sentinel's attacks take skill to dodge, but they're almost all punishable, which is why I absolutely enjoy this fight. The fight started in the rain, which made his fire attacks deal less damage, and his lightning attacks much more effective. This was very inconvenient, so I was relieved to see the rain stop. However, I still thought it was interesting how the weather impacted the fight. I know this guy's moveset pretty well, enough to kill him on my third try. With access to the capital, I can finally obtain the first Stormhawk axe. This enhances my build because the axe is pretty much just a better version of the battle axe. I was able to also upgrade this to +9. I was able to quickly defeat the ghost version of Godfrey with this upgrade. I always take so much damage during this fight because I'm more used to the normal fight later on in the game, but I was still able to kill him on my first try. I also noticed that despite how strong the Stormhawk axe is, I wasn't able to find much use of the Ash of War. Only because it made my character stand still for such a long time that I only pulled it off occasionally, which I did at the very end of the fight here. Another fight that I enjoy a lot, Morgott, was next. However, as much as I love this fight, it had been quite a while since I last fought him, and it almost felt like I had to relearn his moveset. Luckily, the dual axes dealt so much damage, because this was the first time fighting this guy where I didn't get a lot of staggers. I was able to charge my axe up with lightning, using the Ash of War during times the boss was occupied, like with the aerial sword attack. I killed him on my first try yet again. With Morgott dead, Nepheli, Kenneth, and Gostric's all moved to the throne room of Stormveil Castle, with Nepheli becoming the new leader of Limgrave, and Kenneth at the Queen's hand. I think this is a really unique ending in Elden Ring, and I'm glad they added it on later in the game. It's one of the very few happy endings in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of these characters reappeared in the future DLC. With access to the mountaintops of the Giants, I was able to get another Stormhawk axe. It's located in Castle Sol. I upgraded this one to +9 as well, and later in the run I eventually got both axes to +10. I activated Morgott's Great Room, which gave me more health, and lastly, I also killed the Future Tree Avatar Hitless. I was really proud of this, so I'll show most of the fight here. Now with all my preparation done, I just needed Nepheli to become the Elden Lord. First in line of bosses to defeat was Fire Giant. I've said it once and I'll keep saying it, using a horse here makes this fight much easier. I only got off torrent a few times to use my Ashen War, but other than that, I stayed on horseback for the fight. I staggered the boss, and then something really weird happened. As I transitioned the boss to his second phase while on my horse, when the fight started, I lost almost all my HP for no reason and Torrent died. When I tried summoning Torrent to run away from following attack, he didn't even spawn until the second try. I'm not really sure how I survived this one, and I thought this glitch was patched a long time ago, but I guess not. If anyone has an explanation for this, please let me know. For the rest of the fight, I just kept swinging the Stormhawk axe until the boss died, once again on my first try. Godskin Duo was pretty easy with sleep pots. Usually, however, I charge a two-handed weapon, but I couldn't do that this time. I decided to just use each attack on the boss normally because it takes them both a very long time to wake up, leaving me with lots of room to deal damage. I'm really not a fan of this boss design, but at least the sleep mechanic makes it much easier. Next up was Malekith, and to be honest, I do not have that much to say about this fight. It took me 2 tries. He's probably one of the best bosses in the game, but even though I love the fight doesn't mean I'm good at it. Sure, I could dodge most attacks, but if I got hit once, it would completely ruin my confidence and I'd get thrown off. I had no time to use my Ashen War, and I never staggered the boss, so this was a purely normal fight between Nepheli and Malekith. Luckily, Nepheli won. Now it was time for Nepheli to fight her foster father, Gideon. I hardly died to any bosses during this run, and I'm ashamed to admit I died to Gideon. I defeated him soon after, but it's definitely overwhelming if you do not kill this guy quickly. He spams as much magic as he can, making this fight really annoying. But I didn't mind because it was really cool to fight Gideon while playing as Nepheli. I killed him not long after. This was my favorite fight in the entire run. Seeing Nepheli kill her foster father and then go face to face with her real dad was insane. I don't have much to say about this fight, so just watch this. I just died here, and I'm glad. When respawning, I saw Nepheli's summon sign appear. I had no idea this was possible, that the game actually paired Nepheli up with us to kill her own father. Here's how this fight went with the summon, and it was much easier. At the end of the fight, I just watched Nepheli finish the job. With Godfrey down, all that's left was the final boss. I really do not have much to say about this last fight either, other than that Radagon was much more difficult than the Elden Beast. Enjoy watching Nepheli become the Elden Lord. I want to thank everyone who made it this far into the video. It means a lot. I've received a lot of support lately, and I'm really grateful. I'm also streaming live on YouTube now, so feel free to stop by and chat. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.